Over the last 15 years of my research in psychology and why people do the things they do, I have learned that selling and talking about yourself is not just a skill, it's a state. Why is it a state? It's because your nervous system speaks before you talk. And you can have the right script, the right knowledge, the right information, but if your nervous system isn't regulated, you will run into these problems. You will over explain yourself, first of all. You will hesitate, and people feel like, oh, maybe they don't know what they are doing. You might even lower your price to a point that doesn't even make sense for you to sell. And you might even lose the room. And it happens a lot more than would like to admit. Why? It's because most people feel pushy and they don't project the certainty, the clarity that they have, and that is presence. And it's something that you're doing every day. You're talking about what you do about yourself in meetings, in conversations, and even in how you show up. So you are either communicating value or unintentionally minimizing your value. And that's why it's really important to be intentional about what you're communicating and how you're communicating it by making sure your nervous system is in the right space and you're able to regulate it on command. Because guess what? Life happens. And so scenarios which we always see playing out is when you freeze on a call and your mind goes blank. I'm sure you have seen this more than you would like to admit. Let's say you're talking about your price with the client and then you start justifying it. They feel like maybe you're not sure about the value that you're offering to the table. Or if someone says, I'll think about it, you lose control, go ballistic, trying to convince them. Or you're in a room, you're not able to speak up, and someone less qualified than you gets the job. This is definitely not a skill problem, it's a state problem. And you know what? People don't always buy the best option, they buy the one that feels most certain. And certainty is something people feel from you even before you speak. And this is exactly what we call presence. Because guess what? Before you speak, your nervous system speaks louder than you do. And it shows whether you are capable or not capable. And sometimes it's just a matter of how you speak and the presence you bring to the room. And this is why I show you what's blocking your presence from communicating your value, your expertise, and how to shift it. We've been having an amazing time where we've talked about several deep things, and it's been a fantastic time together with you. Yes, so there is my presentation. And why I essentially want to emphasize focusing on your narrative is because people relate more with your story than your qualifications. Because you can have the qualifications, yes, but you might not be able to help people in the way that they need to be helped. People relate with people who've gone through the same things that they are going through. And think of it, what do others need help with from you most of the time. Then you realize you have a gift, you have something you can offer the world because of what has shaped you. It's not necessarily the qualifications, but the experience that you have lived through, and you have come out in the end a better person. And I'd like to encourage you to reflect on this and see what is it that the world would really appreciate from me based on my experiences. And we also talked about finding your niche, essentially knowing who do I want to help, what are the problems that they're struggling with, and the problems that you solve. And what experience do I have that helps them? For example, personally, I went through a really hard time with a sick child, and it showed me how messed up my nervous system was. And I had to start learning nervous system regulation from the ground up. And from all those experiences, they have built me to the person I am now. And even without the qualification I have, that is the therapy I trained in the UK, I have the experience and I know how to go about it. I know what works and what doesn't work. Because 15 years is a long time to have experienced all this and learned from it. Because I was very keen and clear from the word go that I have to triumph this. I have no other choice. And the next point is the content that builds authority. And this is essentially the lessons from your experience, your journey, the practical tips that you can give people who are in the same boat or in a variation of the same experience that you've had. Your personal insights. For example, when I was sleeping at night, I would basically hear the baby crying in my head. So oftentimes I would wake up and go at the door and start listening. He wasn't really crying. It's just that for me, I'm used to, and my nervous system was always on alert. And that's something that also causes sleep deprivation. So if you know someone who has insomnia, they need to check how their nervous system is. Yeah. And you find that there's an amazing 73% statistic that says that decision makers value thought leadership over the hyped marketing that we see online, because people follow real, authentic voices. And that's what we are building here. So, how do we handle imposter syndrome? And this is the number one thing that people face. Be it a business owner, be it a career person, you feel like you're not meant to be there, you don't deserve to be there. And here we want to highlight that instead of it being a weakness, it's a sign that you're growing. You're called for more, you know? And a lot of CEOs have experienced this, so you won't be the first or the last. A lot of career men and women have experienced this. So don't worry if you're in that boat. That's why this training is here, just to work with you. And so, how do we manage the procrastination and imposter syndrome as well? All of these come from fear, and fear causes anxiety. So, what we want to do is to use the 5-minute rule. And how does it work? How does it work? You set a timer and choose one small task. You begin the task, you might not even want to go about it. It feels boring. But watch as you continue doing the task, the momentum builds up and you find yourself feeling more excited about doing that task. And this is a fantastic hack. Fun fact, right before this call, I had taken some supplements, and what happened was they left a funny taste in my mouth, and my brain was like, oh no, I don't want to continue doing what I was doing here. I really wanted to change my environment, and one thought crossed my mind that maybe I should go and sleep. I had slept late, so I was planning to recover the hours during the day. And I was like, you know what? I'll look for something fun for me to do, maybe listening to a learning video so that I don't necessarily need to go and do something else right now. And guess what? I tricked my mind. I started listening to a video and I got so inspired to even hop on this call and talk about what we needed to cover today. And that's a simple hack that if you try it as often as possible, you'll find yourself beating procrastination any day. Imposter syndrome as well. Every time you feel like, oh, maybe I don't belong here, think of something you can do so that you can also prove to yourself that I can do this, I belong here, right? This is a big challenge dealing with distraction. I remember even when I started my business, I would have 100 things that I need to do. And I felt like I needed to do them right there and then. But what did it do? It kept me moving from one task to the other, not being productive. And if you're in the call last time, we talked about picking 3 priorities in your day so that you don't have so many things to focus on. And when you have too much information, it causes anxiety, definitely. So you want to deal with these distractions. So when you have three things, you can focus on them. So you'll have one message, one audience, and one platform if you're starting out. You might find some people have several of them, but for the sake of reducing distractions, focusing on one platform helps, and then you can replicate to platforms which are similar. So, for example, how I do it, my LinkedIn, I post similar content from my LinkedIn to my Facebook. And for my TikTok and Instagram, they use similar content as well. And now, from the videos from Instagram, I can also post them on Facebook. So that way, it allows me to create content for one platform and then just repost them somewhere else while focusing on one platform. And then the other thing is consistency. This is a big one. In fact, it's the game changer in life. I am all about building habits that create consistency in your life, because you do not grow by doing one thing today, doing something else another day. You grow by consistently doing the same thing. You get better at it. You improve ways in which you can do it. You improve how to make it better. And I guess you can get the gist. And as we continue along, you realize that there is a next level for you. There's where you are and where you want to go. Yeah. And a lot of times, this is a huge desire for everyone. Myself, starting in this work, this is the reason why I got into it in the first place, because I desired a deeper transformation to address my patterns. So I would go on, podcasts, on courses, listening, but you realize until the point where you start working on your limiting beliefs, you are basically just circling around. And that's why I encourage every single person I talk to start with an RTT session, because this is what unlocks the limits in your mind. And once you do that, once you remove those blocks, oh my goodness, the sky is the limit, literally. It accelerates your progress, helps release the limiting beliefs that you may have had for decades, and the blocks that have been holding you back for a long time. And guess what? 82% is actually like a realistic metric, but I can assure you over 90% of the people who have gone through RTT, they report lasting changes, confidence gains, better relationships, and it's a fantastic investment. 100% worth it. Emotional regulation is the well-being work of the century. And yeah, so in these RTT sessions, they are private sessions which you do individually. And we also have an advanced present branding program. What we have been going through with you here is just a test or a tip of the iceberg on what we cover, what we go in depth into in our advanced program, whereby we even give you customized prompts, we give you customized workbooks whereby you can curate your business, your niche, and everything that you need by using those resources. We work together more closely, basically. This is only if you want to accelerate your growth journey. If you're okay with where you are, if it won't cost you anything to be at the same spot in the next 6 months, 1 year, then this is not for you. It's only for ambitious people who want to move to their next level and get paid doing what they love and impacting people. And we have Q&A. Questions are welcome as often, because I believe the best growth happens when you ask questions. And when you ask questions, something happens in your brain whereby it's like a puzzle in your mind, and it's your mind is trying to fix those pieces, the pieces of information where they need to go. And as you ask questions, as you get insight, you grow and improve your practice, what you're focused on. And this is really important for any person in a career, in entrepreneurship, to make sure they are able to focus on nervous system regulation and belief transformation strategies and personal branding approaches. More importantly, confidence building methods based on nervous system regulation. It's been a pleasure talking to you about what this program is about, and I'm excited and I can't wait for all of you to join us in the advanced program, which is, like I said, it's more in depth. It's more, you get the prompts and the workbooks that you need to curate all this for your business, and you also get to have your own private RTT session whereby you get to unlock what is holding you back. And I'd like to encourage you that I am rooting for you. And guess what? Your next best move is either going to take you further into your goal or help you stay stuck where you are. But small, consistent steps is what moves the needle. And make sure you have those steps every day. You have that clarity of mind of where you want to go from today moving forward. Throughout this program, I have given you a lot of tips on how to regulate yourself, on where to start, what to do. I wanted it to be really simple because obviously, if you're already dealing with nervous system regulation, you do not need to be bogged down with a lot of information. That's why I made this, kept it so simple, so understandable. That was really intentional. And if you want to go in depth into this, that's why you go into the advance. And then we also have a program whereby if you feel like, oh, I've tried so much, I don't want to keep doing this on my own again, and you feel like you also need a support team that is going to help you with the actual generation of the information, the focus on what you need to focus on with your clients and things like that, we do have a program whereby we do support you in that. Now, building your business from the ground up, how to set up this, how to set up all the things that you might need. If it's in terms of your career, you're not locked out. We also do have a provision whereby you can have, if you want to increase your visibility online, what kind of content you need to focus on, that's pretty much done for you. It's now the next level after the advanced. So you have options, you are literally not stuck, you have information even right now to help you to show up, to practice, and also make sure that you're patient with yourself so that you make sure that your presence is growing every single day. And I'm looking forward to having a review call with each one of you so that we can go about and see what would be your next steps, where are you stuck, and what should you do in order to grow your business or your career. If you're looking to get into a promotion, if you're looking to get a better job, to raise your salary, and things like that. I am rooting for you and I'm confident because of your commitment to listen to this program and to action what we have talked about. I am 100% sure that if you go on the right path, keep going on the next step, next level, you will get there. And I'm right here behind you.